What's up, guys? Memorex back to a brand new video, and today for this video we finally have Void Stranger, a game for lunatics by Super Eye Patch Wolf. Now this was recommended to me by Terrian Failure 4420. He recommended this to me about this game was recommended to me like over, well, at least the last time I remember he recommended it to me was like a month ago. And he recommended me a lot sooner than that, later than that. So it's been a long time coming that I've been meaning to react to this. Now, this video is an hour and 32 minutes long. So I'm gonna break this up a little bit. Like I said, probably said in my previous video that I uploaded, which from when you're seeing this video was technically yesterday I uploaded that video, but for me it's the same day. But you'll understand, man. I'm gonna break this video up into two parts. So I'm gonna react to at least up to about halfway or whatever, like 40-50 minutes of it, up to for the today. I'm uploading to that today, and then tomorrow I'm gonna react to the rest of the video, and then I'm gonna merge two videos together and upload that as one full video for y'all. So it'll be one full video for y'all, but it's basically two separate videos for me. That's why you'll be able to tell, like, when we get to the halfway point, you'll see I'll have a whole different shirt on, which hopefully I will. I'm just playing. But yeah, so no, I know nothing about this game. I've never even heard of it until he mentioned something in the video. But he said supposedly he believes the lore is on par with Ultra Kill. So we about to find out. I don't want to waste too much time, but I do want to let y'all know about something. This is a long video. If you didn't already guess that, there's a high chance y'all are gonna see me smacking the video. I know some of y'all don't like watching YouTubers and having them smacking in your ears and nothing like that. I'm gonna try to not be smacking in y'all ears, but understand I'm probably gonna snack in the videos, cause like, especially if y'all don't want another instance like with the Hyper Light Drifter lore video where I was falling asleep through it, snacking will probably help keep me awake. Because like, I'm just not the type of person who can just sit for long periods of time. It doesn't work out well for me. I mean, unless I'm actually playing a video game, but that I'm actually doing something. If I sit for long periods of time, I'll start getting sleepy. That's just how I am sometimes. But we gonna try not to keep that. So y'all will see me snacking during the video. So I'm gonna warn y'all about that now. Anyhow, let's not waste no more time. Let's get into it. Let's see what they got with Super Eye Patch Wolf. It's gonna be a long video.
You stare into the void. How long have you been here? What is this place? Why is everything about it so punishing and cruel? Suddenly, the air around you freezes. The grotesque drone begins to gurgle from your speakers. And within that wash of noise, you can hear something. Someone crying? The edges of your screen crackle and morph, and as they do...
Are you done? Can you stop rolling on the back? Will you knock it off? I don't even know if y'all can see her right now. I don't know if I'm positioned right to y'all can see her. Y'all probably can. But she just rolling, my damn dog just rolling around in my bed. Can you calm down? Why do you always start when I'm doing a video? Yeah.
Some gigantic tentacled abomination pulls itself into frame and begins lurching towards you. Your mind spirals as the deeper mysteries of the void unleash themselves upon you. What is this creature? Why is the reality around it erasing? And what exactly are you playing? In other words, what is Void Stranger?
Hello. I am here to answer those questions, but also to say, fuck this game, fuck its magic wand swapping bullshit, fuck its infinite, endless floors, fuck its obtuse Google Doc requiring storytelling, and most of all, fuck these statues. Don't you worry, we'll get to these. Fuck Void Stranger.
Straightforward.
It's also one of the best games I've ever played, and I love it.
Void
I'm sorry, I don't mean to pause this much because I know we got a long ways to go, but that's sometimes I'll be feeling like that when I play, because I play a lot of Souls games like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, and stuff like that. That's how sometimes I be feeling about them games, to be like, screw this game, but then other times it's like, The game is a masterpiece. I love it. Overall, it's mostly a masterpiece, but sometimes I be hating the game because, like, I be struggling. From what I've been hearing, this game is probably maybe worse than Souls games, but we're about to find out.
Stranger released in September of 2023 from developer System Erasure. What at first seems like a novel take on a niche genre gradually spirals out into an abyss. Void Stranger is the kind of game you emerge gasping from, desperate to talk to other people about and share these strange things you've encountered there, trading theories about what this world is and how it works. But the problem for a lot of people will be just getting to that point. Void Stranger can be obtuse and impenetrable and cruel, and with just over 2,000 Steam reviews, the community behind this game is tiny. And worse, unlike System Erasure's previous game Zero Ranger, an immaculately designed shmup which boasts an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam, Void Stranger holds a meager, very positive rating, despite being beloved by a niche fanbase. And the reason for that can be found in a number of negative reviews, many of which read like this. If you like unforgivable puzzle games where a single mistake means replaying 5 hours worth of content or getting a bad ending, this might be for you. If you like a game that doesn't introduce any of its mechanics to you but still punishes you for not understanding them, such as forcing you to replay the entire game, this game might be for you. Because Void Stranger is a game far too sadistic in its need to ensure you have unreasonable challenges, to ever let you get the upper hand, yet alone have fun.
I think he meant to write, let alone. Despite the wanker-esque vocal delivery I have inflicted on this review, I don't actually think anything about it is that wrong. Void Stranger is a game full of mystery that refuses to hold your hand, instead leaving you stranded at the supermarket and forcing you to find your own way home.
I can't even play through Souls games.
Dad, that leaves us with a problem. How much of this game do I reveal to you to make you give a shit? Well, I've really tried to make this video in a way that I think even if you watch every second of it, you're still going to want to check out System Erasure's game. But for the more spoiler-sensitive gamer, I have also divided this video into 4 floors, designed for you to get off at the one that stops corresponding to you. Please take special note of floor 4. That's right. I know that's how some of you watch my videos.
But first, hello viewer.
This is my first time here.
You can tell this is serious because there's no music playing. A year ago, I made a video essay called The Bizarre World of Fake Video Games, and I really loved making that video. But you can imagine my shock when the publisher of Vermis, HoloPress, reached out to me and asked if I wanted to create an entire book about fake video games.
What?
A year later, that is exactly what we did. A high-quality, hardcover book filled with reviews, previews, and retrospectives on games that never existed. I scoured the internet looking for the most insane and beautiful fake video games I could find, and working with the artists who created them, as well as our graphic designer Marco, who is just one of the most inhumanly talented people I've ever met, I am so proud of what we made, and you can pre-order it today. The book is the first in a new HoloPress series called the UDWFG Essays, and will be available in 2 versions, a regular edition and a special collector's edition, which will include an A4 print signed by me, as well as Plastaboo, the creator of Vermis, who by some miracle we got to do the cover for this book. And as an added bonus for both versions, we'll be including a special holographic sticker sheet for the first 1,000 pre-orders. The book is scheduled to release at the end of October, and I'll actually be attending the Luca Comics and Games Festival to celebrate its launch. Shipments will be taking place in late November, but pre-orders are open today for a very limited time. Link is in the description. I hope it's obvious at this point, but I don't sell shit on this channel that I don't really believe in, and I am so proud of this book and everyone who worked on it, and I hope you enjoy it too.
A lot of YouTubers making books.
Thank you.
But it'd be like an encyclopedia book or like a manga or something.
Upon
That
booting
reminds
up
me.
Void Street,
Maybe not even pause. I gotta get I gotta get body videos. Dang, Elden Ring book. I don't even know if it's out yet. If it is, I need to get it.
You'll be asked to input your brand. What does this mean?
What?
Shut up. Don't worry about it. That's none of your business. You're shown a cutscene of a woman crossing a vast desert with a determined look on her face, before she stops at a strange, cubular abyss. This is the void. After she dives in, you take control of the woman, and if you've ever played a top-down Legend of Zelda game, the 4-directional controls will feel familiar, even cozy. There's nothing of note in this first room besides this strange 6x6 engraving, which, shut up, don't worry about it, that's none of your business. You proceed down the stairs and are met with a...
Let me see, can I turn the volume up a little bit?
A large statuesque.
Volume's just a tad bit low for me.
Statue. I need to stop writing these at night. Wearing a necklace, in front of which lies a chest, and at the other end of the room, a stairs, which you can now safely take as your goal. However, this time, a chasm separates you and it. With no way to cross it, your only option is to go for the chest, which triggers a cutscene showing that you have acquired a strange rod and that something is wrong. Back in control now, and indeed, something does feel wrong. Whereas a moment ago, you were able to move freely, now pressing any direction snaps you to the corresponding tile. And it feels weird, but more troubling is you still have no way to cross the gap. So,
I'm not gonna lie, knowing me, I wouldn't even pay attention
trying to start Angry Birds on an iPhone, you paw at the controls until... oh, you just hit the action button, and when you did, one of the tiles disappeared. And if you hit it again, you will place the tile back down. You have acquired the ability to pick up and put down a single tile. Using your newfound ability, you build a little bridge to cross the chasm. You have just solved Void Stranger's first puzzle, and in doing so, discovered what kind of game this is. Void Stranger is a game about swapping tiles.
There is undoubtedly a portion of you right now bellowing, "Eye Patch Wolf, I ain't here for no block pushing simulator. I'm here to play video games, not video chains." And I get it. With the sole exception of Hideki Kamiya's Goof Troop, I have zero interest in the Sokoban or Warehouse Keeper subgenre. I, like you, am a red-blooded gamer. I like my beers cold, my skies a-blue, my guns a-shooting, and if someone's gonna speak language in a video game, by God, it had better be American. However, what you don't know at this point is how little you know. Whatever assumptions you have about this game, burn them! Because there is an abyss of joy and madness that lies beyond. And that insanity has actually already started in this very puzzle. In other words, if you're concerned that I went over that original puzzle in unnecessary, even perverse detail, I got some bad news for you.
What?
What you need to understand when you enter this first puzzle is that you are a tiny dumb baby. You do not know what this game is, its genre, or mechanics, but over the course of the 20-ish seconds it might take someone to solve it, you now come to understand the central mechanic of the entire game. But what's interesting is how it gets you there. After you get the rod, nothing about how to use it is explained, and that lack of information traps you in this moment of slight anxiety, because under your current understanding of what this game is, there is no path forward, and so the solution has to lie outside that understanding. And so you flail, you experiment, you try things, leading to the discovery that you can pick up tiles and then the satisfaction of using that knowledge to build a bridge. And it's simple, but it feels awesome. But imagine how different this puzzle would feel if instead the game just displayed tutorial text telling you what to do. Even though mechanically we're performing the exact same actions, pressing the same buttons,
it is more
the difference
satisfying
is what's happening
inside
us. Because now that anxiety, that discovery, that satisfaction of putting it all together, we don't feel any of that because we haven't solved anything. All we've really done is what the game told us. We are still a tiny, weak baby, just a baby who follows orders. And we all know who follows orders, right? But by not doing this, we are given no choice but to make those connections ourselves. We had to learn. We had to grow. No longer a tiny, weak baby, but a big, strong adult. So yeah, this is a game about swapping tiles, but it's really about being placed in scenarios where there is no obvious answer, meaning you have to reach beyond what you currently understand the game to be and towards realizations that transform your understanding of this world and how you move through it. This simple puzzle being the tiniest, most condensed version of that idea. But trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay. Show me something.
A little word from our sponsor.
What?
Me. The frog. Noble, elegant, wise, the thinking man's dog.
What this is, National Geographic?
The new Eye Patch Wolves Frog Tea from guest artist Speederoo.
Nice.
Happened here is, and started to... It might not feel like it yet, but what's happened here is you have started to build a rule set for what Void Stranger's world is and how to navigate it. And from here, each floor is like adding another page to that rule set through discoveries that sometimes seem minor, like the fact that boulders can be pushed around the map, or that most floors have an optional treasure chest that always contains a locust for some reason, but others feel more significant. Take Floor 11. Floor 11 is unusual. Upon entering it, you'll notice it contains something you've never seen before. An enemy, and specifically a leech. But strangely, because of how the floor is laid out, divided into two separate corridors, the leech can't reach you, and you can't reach it. This is not where the strangeness ends. Take a step forward, and so too does the leech. Stay still, and so too does the leech. Keep moving, and the enemy will move every time you do, traveling from left to right and turning around once it hits the wall. And I want you to ask yourself, what do you think is being communicated to the player here? Well, believe it or not, two things. One is the movement pattern of the leech enemy, something that we can experience safely and without risk of punishment due to the floor's layout. So that when we continue down to the next floor and are tasked with navigating our way around two leech enemies, despite the increased danger, we already have all the knowledge we need to do that because we know how the leech moves from the previous floor. However, the second piece of knowledge we can acquire on floor 11 is far more significant, and something that's going to affect every step forward down the void from here. The fact that time only moves forward when you do. Every step you take in Void Stranger takes time 1 unit forward, meaning it's only when you move that enemies will, and this is big. Because we have no way to destroy most enemies, understanding not just an enemy's movement pattern, but the fact that we control when they move and thus can endlessly plan a route around them, this becomes our greatest weapon against the creatures of the void. And that is all a massive amount of information to be imparted in the maybe 12 seconds it takes to complete floor 11.
I would just run past
this is one of the reasons Void Stranger is so difficult to put down. It's like you're constantly being fed a stream of information about this world and how it works. Each little fragment of knowledge being a slight increase in your capacity to navigate the void. And it is addictive. It's like leveling up, but the stat increasing is your brain. The result feels nearly like a conversation between you and the game, like this unspoken stream of information back and forth as the problems you face on each floor grow gradually more complex. The game sometimes taking two mechanically simple enemies and combining them for a much greater challenge, before later taking those same enemies and using them as threads in these massive tapestries of cause and effect that you will break your brain trying to solve. But you can do it, not only because you have infinite time to analyze these puzzles, but because the game has shown you each individual piece and how they work. Meaning the real challenge is your capacity not just to hear that information,
So basically, they give you they basically do give you the answers of how to do things in the game, but it's like they're not gonna tell you that that's the answer. It's like they put it right in front of you and be like, you just stand there, just completely silent, and it's like, is that the answer? And then you sit there just like, is that the answer? They be like, figure it out. That's basically what I'm getting. They do.
But understand it. Once you realize how the game is constantly communicating with you and how every little part of it seems to carry meaning and purpose, you start to question everything. What exactly are those square engravings at the beginning of each zone? Why does the game seem to occasionally skip a numbered floor? Why do I have only 7 hit points when each monster hits for 999 damage? What are those smiling statues, and what are those four-eyed statues, and why do I get such an awful feeling from them? And who is this large snake lady? I know what some of you want me to do, and I'm not doing it. In fact, I don't even know what it is. Before long, you'll find yourself wondering about everything in Void Stranger.
Say no more.
As you do, the larger mysteries of the Void creep tantalizingly into focus. Like, what exactly even is the Void, and who are you playing as? Answers to these questions will not come easy, but over your first hour with the game, one of two things will happen. And the first is, you will run out of locusts. Anytime you fall into the void or are touched by an enemy, the room will reset and your locust count will be reduced by 1. And when that count reaches 0, you effectively game over, triggering a cutscene with a little spherical person who tells you you are dead and now lost in the void forever. But you're given 2 options. Either give up, which sends you back to the start of the game, or continue. If you choose to continue, you're offered a fruit of the void and told by eating it, you can become part of this realm. Choosing to eat the fruit brings you back to the room you died in, but now your HP count is replaced by a single word, void. And what's more, despite the fact that you can still collect locusts, falling or being hit by an enemy no longer costs you 1, meaning you are now functionally immortal and free to explore the void without penalty.
Sounds too good to be true.
I will not at present explain the implications of any of this, but I encourage you to make your own assumptions, and later we shall test those assumptions.
Alright, quickly, I gotta make my assumptions real quick. I'm assuming that it's one of those deals that's way too good to be true, and it's like, but it's corrupting you. You get this power to basically become immortal, but it's like it slowly corrupts you to try to make you one with the void or whatever, to make you willingly become one with the void as it like slowly corrupts you. That's just my assumption so far.
The death cutscene is going to be most people's first glimpse into Void Stranger's story, but the second comes when the player hits the first tree room. A tree room occurs every 28 floors, and they are unusual. Approach the tree and you'll be given the option to rest, and if you do so,
what?
Your game shuts down, booting you back to your desktop. That's unusual, right?
Hello, John. You're quite good at turning me on.
Like, that's unusual, right? Stranger still, boot the game back up and you'll find yourself in what looks like an old castle. A group of guards cowering on the floor. Controls have now reverted back to the free directional movement they were at the start of the game, and if you enter the inner chamber, you'll have to throw open the curtains before approaching the bed and... Wait, what? There's turn-based combat in this game? You face down a nightmarish creature called the Princess's Wrath as it hurls insults at you, while you choose when to defend and when to launch your own insults in return. It's not a complex system, but it is tense and you can lose. And while it serves as a shock to what you thought this game was, its real appeal is in what it tells you about these characters. After defeating or being defeated by this creature, it will actually be revealed to be a small princess. This is Princess Lily, and you are her lady in waiting, Grey. You can tell from the cowering guards outside the room that the princess is a lot, but Grey is the only one who can deal with this nightmare child and withstand her verbal lashings. Even able to convince this tiny abomination to do normal people things like bathe and not attack other humans. The switch up in format to a turn-based battle shows there's friction between the two, but the conversation that follows shows something else. Warmth. Grey's been away for some unknown reason, and despite the princess's verbal tirade, she seems very happy to have Grey back, and even suggests that the two should run away together. Grey too clearly feels a lot for the princess, but acknowledges that regardless of whatever she may want personally, they both have a greater responsibility to the kingdom. It's compelling, and from here, every 28 floors you'll hit another tree room and be given another fragment of Lily and Grey's story. As you journey even further down the void,
So you
these
basically got a whole side story
become
going
your
on with the main
motivation,
story.
a testament not only to how well
$50 as it links up later on. It's got a whole side story going on while the main story is going on. Every 28 floors, you see that tree. You go in. You rest. Boot you out the game. You boot back in that room. You go into that room and get follow their story, the Princess and Grey story. I bet anything it links into the main story. I'm betting it now. I'm calling it now.
Void Stranger's story is told, but also how well it's presented. Void Stranger is an oddly beautiful game, and I feel like if you're just staring at a screenshot of it, that's not going to be immediately obvious. Void Stranger looks like a Game Boy game, and everything from its desaturated color palette to its hyper-limited pixel count makes it feel that way. But I think this is the only way a game like Void Stranger could exist. I took a look at some of the programs used to create this game and was surprised to see how simple they often were, like sound effects created through a free randomized online synthesizer with each little parameter adjustable. In fact, every program used was either free or nearly free, and I think that's awesome because, like a thumbprint pressed into a clay figure, you can feel the marks of its creators. Void Stranger's look, as well as the programs used to make it, reveal what Void Stranger is. A personal game made by a tiny team. Just 2 people, and with, I'm guessing, intensely limited resources. And yet, who still found a way to shape their world through pixels and monochrome. And
It will
not
always
to
be
be
so
too angry
crazy.
here.
Some of the best game, like, it'd be like underrated masterpieces that people find, and it's always created by small teams. Like, I'm sorry, still snacking. Like, Hollow Knight. That's another instance of it. I'm pretty sure that's a small team, pretty small team, but that's still such a popular game. When like, people were losing their minds when they heard Silk Song was coming out. Like, and yeah, I still gotta get back to playing Hollow Knight. I remember I started the first Hollow Knight, and it is definitely a very enjoyable game. I gotta get back to it. But yeah, it's still so crazy how some of the most underrated, versus we got these games that are coming out from these billion-dollar companies, and it's just like, okay, it's a great game, but it's like not really much left to be seen. But then you just got these small indie games made by these small companies, and it's just like, this game is a masterpiece. You got people, everybody who has played it, like, this game is a masterpiece. Nothing wrong with it. Everything is awesome. Like, really, the only limit behind is the limit of the amount of stuff they actually could do with it. Always be crazy to me.
But I find that alone kind of intensely beautiful. Beyond that though, the visuals themselves show so much skill and passion. The character portraits feel alive, expressive, and emotional, giving clear windows into what their characters are feeling at any given moment in the story. Each scene loaded with little aesthetic touches that create a sense of place and atmosphere, like light spilling into a dark room as you fling open the drapes, or the gentle bounce and swaying curtains of a traveling carriage. And I feel like the older I get, the less I'm affected by accurate light ray simulation or advanced particle effects. But show me a scene of a little
Hold up, back up. Is this there? Was it Death Stranding or something like that? Is this the actual scene from the main game? I never realized how realistic their graphics looked. Never watched an actual clip of it. I'm gonna have to check that. I think it's on PlayStation Plus.
Or advanced particle effects, but show me a scene of a little pixel person staring out a window into darkness as perfectly square snowflakes drift gently in the foreground, and something in my brain just says a person made this, a person somewhere who is trying to communicate something to me, and just that hits. Void Stranger's soundtrack feels the exact same way. This collection of crunchy, compressed chip music scrounged together from randomized samples and synthesizers, but assembled with a personality and vision that results in some genuine-ass bangers that can keep even the most frustrating floors alive and exciting, but also underscore the game's most somber story moments with melodies of real drama and pathos, all pulsing with the same bespoke, handcrafted personal feel as the visuals. The combination of both the visuals and the sound meld into this utterly unique atmosphere, resulting in some intensely impactful scenes, like a section where Gray teaches Lily to dance, which once again transforms the format of Void Stranger into becoming a rhythm game, as the two sway in each other's arms, shadows encroaching on either side. And it's such a gorgeous moment, alive with an atmosphere and identity unique to Void Stranger, but tragic because of its place in the larger story. As a princess, Lily is constantly pursued by suitors, who she categorically and violently rejects, which is of great concern to both Gray and the kingdom. However, this begins to change when she meets Johan, who is definitely a good guy and absolutely not about to pull a Griffith. Johan is different. He's capable, charming, and handsome.
You could have used any other Nazi. Don't use Griffith. I haven't even watched Berserk and I know stuff about Griffith. Man, now I'm scared for what's gonna happen.
Pull a Griffith. Johan is different. He's capable, charming, and handsome, and soon Lily finds herself falling for him, and the two are betrothed. The dancing scene with Gray coming in preparation for Lily's wedding to Johan, and it stands as this stark moment between just Gray and Lily, when the two have never been happier, but also know that soon this time will end and everything will change. The fantasy of running away together will be cut off forever. A fate that grows ever crueler when we discover that Johan does not actually care about Lily, that he sees his marriage to her as a means to take control of the kingdom. And when Gray discovers this and exposes Johan, he threatens to kill Gray unless Lily marries him. And heartbroken, Lily agrees. And then, well, then we don't actually know. All we do know is that something occurs between this point and the start of the game where we met Gray, but we can infer from these...
Wait. I'm making it right now. What if the main character is the princess and Johan's daughter? Or actually, main character does look a little more closer to Gray. I don't want to think about it. If I'm predicting. Well, no, the princess is blonde. Character's got black hair. I don't know.
Cutscenes that this has something to do with Lily. She is the person Gray is braving the void for. Void Stranger's story is great, but one of my favorite things...
Wait, so is the main character Gray?
Void for Lily. She is the person Gray is braving the void for.
Oh.
Void Stranger's story is great, but one of my favorite things about it is how it contextualizes the difficulty of this game. Void Stranger is hard, and while I think pretty much anyone's going to be able to make it to the bottom of the void, I also think a lot of people won't. And that's not because I think those people lack intelligence or skill, but two other qualities. And the first is perspective. People won't understand what Void Stranger is when first approaching the game, and that's a problem I'm hoping this video you're watching right now can solve. But the second is just patience. I think if you can solve the average Sudoku puzzle, you can solve 99% of the puzzles in Void Stranger. But sometimes that means
That's gonna be
staying
a
with a
problem
puzzle
for me.
long enough to see
I'm not
beyond
great
your
with patience.
preconceptions of what you thought this game was and where its limits are, and into what the puzzle is actually asking you to do. Which brings me to this floor. The puzzle here involves a mimic enemy, a creature that copies your vertical movement while mirroring your horizontal. Because of this and how the mimic is positioned, the right part of the screen is inaccessible to you. The solution being to step on this switch to open this staircase. The only problem being that you can't actually do that. Because the position of the switch doesn't mirror the position of the stairs, it means there's no way to have both you on the stairs and the mimic on the switch. Instead, one of you will just plummet to your death. You can't move the switch because you have no way of getting to it, and you can't move the stairs because you can't move the stairs, making this puzzle functionally impossible. I've been playing Void Stranger for a while at this point, and something here felt off. I've gotten pretty good at transforming floors around a staircase and building a path to it, this one unalterable part of every floor. But something about that felt like it just didn't apply here, like I was missing something, and that's when it hit me. No. If I could move the stairs, I surely would have already. Oh god. That's the solution. You could always move the stairs.
Wow.
I think a lot of people are going to stumble into the fact that you can move the stairs way before this. But for me, I had just never needed to, and so I never tried, resulting in this
probably did
moment
that on
which
purpose.
was even more bambooizling than the time I attempted to read Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn, but accidentally read Regina Abel's Mistwalker, which, trust me, is a very different book.
Dark vapor tendrils wrapped around me. The Mistwalker's dark, featureless face rose out of my body. Cast away your fears, my jade. I will give you only joy and pleasure.
I just thought popular fantasy had gotten really open-minded, and it felt that.
Okay, I know I'm supposed to back the video up so we can, so it doesn't slow the video, but I'm not backing that. I'm not backing up into that shit. But hey, yo, definitely chose the wrong book. Definitely the wrong book. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, with the whole stairs thing, they probably did that on purpose, man. So you would never have to move the stairs in any of the other levels. Then the moment you actually need to move the stairs, that's when they do it. So that way you just get conditioned to the fact that you think you don't need to move, can't move the stairs because you never need to. So it's crazy.
That way because the puzzle here wasn't. I just thought popular fantasy had gotten really open-minded, and it felt that way because the puzzle here wasn't asking me to unscramble a tile set, but to realize that I had assumed there was a limit where there was none. And now, the removal of that perceived limit, i.e. the knowledge that I could in fact move the stairs, was kind of mind-blowing because it retroactively changed how I viewed every floor before and after this point. You constantly encounter puzzles like this. Floors that ask you to question the rule set you've built up over the entire game and rethink.
Make sure I'm still recording. Okay, yeah, I'm still recording. Sometimes I gotta check. Y'all know I get paranoid about that.
Everything you thought was possible. And while it's exciting and satisfying, it's also kind of grueling.
I looked into the biology of what is happening in your brain in periods of mental fatigue, and to criminally oversimplify, it's your brain slowing down due to a buildup of excess chemical byproduct. And I don't know if I've ever felt that mental fatigue as acutely as long sessions with Void Stranger. Not just because the puzzles are hard, but because of how they're constantly asking you to do mental backflips as you reframe your perspective of what is possible in them. And I think this is the actual mechanical reason Void Stranger shuts itself down when you rest at the tree rooms. Because it's the game telling you to let those cognitive juices replenish and come back with a fresh perspective. But what we can take from that is that the grueling mental fatigue is an intended part of this experience. And this is where we tie back to our story. It's occasionally alluded that the Void is some kind of trial, a place designed to test people's determination. And Void Stranger's puzzles working the way they do, you feel that strain. You can feel the mental struggle of solving floor after floor, and your own resolve to beat the game tested. And don't get me wrong, the puzzles are enjoyable, they are meticulously designed and addictive, but they are tiring. As you descend further down the Void to floor 50, floor 100, floor 150, you start to feel a kind of unease. How deep does this go? What floor does the Void end? It does.
Maybe it never ends.
End, right? And it creates a kind of anxiety, a despair felt by both Gray and the player as they both struggle towards a goal they may never be able to reach. And that's a despair palpable in the other human characters you'll encounter. Like flies trapped in some horrifying time-traveling spiderweb, people get caught in the Void, and from a variety of different time periods and realities. Some, like you, have a specific purpose in coming here, but most just seem lost, with no idea of how they got here, how much time has passed since they did, nor how to escape. Some seeming trapped here so long that any trace of humanity has seeped out of them, they now just being these grotesque husks of despair. There's one encounter in particular that really stuck with me, and it's with a character called the Bride, who is not just here because she looks like Casca in a wedding dress. I have a healthy relationship with media, damn it! Your interaction with the Bride doesn't stand out all that much at first. In fact, it's entirely missable if you choose to go straight for the floor stairs and not solve her optional puzzle. But even if you do speak to her, it just results in her becoming angry at you for revealing her hiding spot. And that's how my first 5 or 6 times through this game went. Then, one day on stream, I lingered in this room a few moments longer, and something strange happened. The music stopped, and the Bride's sprite changed. It looks like she's crying. Speak to her and she's too upset to talk to you, but wait a little longer and she calms down just enough to tell you that today was meant to be her wedding day. How hard her and her husband worked to afford a ceremony and how long they'd spent on the invitations. But when the time finally came and she saw him standing there, she just couldn't do it. And she ran away. Now feeling lost and with no idea as to what the rest of her life even is, she finds herself trapped in the Void. The Bride asking you, "Is this my punishment?" Unable to find the words to comfort her, you remain silent. She begs you, "Please don't leave me here. Please. I don't want to die." And that's it. That's the last interaction you can have with the Bride. It is a gut punch of a moment, so specific and cruel, but something I've felt in one other game. Towards the end of the original Silent Hill, there's an interaction with Lisa Garland. Lisa has spent the story wondering why she isn't affected by the same mutation that's taken everyone else in the town. But as it turns out, she has been affected, and you watch in horror as blood trickles down her face and she begins to come apart, all while begging you not even to be saved but just to stay with her. She doesn't want to be alone. It's horrifying, but the part that has always stayed with me is you can't help her. There's no secret side quest or hidden item. She is just damned, and all you can do is walk away. That's a palpable, specific despair, and the exact feeling I get from the Bride. In most video games, we, the player, are the correcting force, the thing that makes everything right. But in this moment, that's taken away from us. There's nothing we can do but walk away from this terrified, desperate person. And it fills the void with this hopelessness. You can't help her. You can't save her. She is just another soul lost in the void. Just like you. That despair mounts as you descend.
Hey, I'm not even gonna lie though. Super iPad Wolf, you a good storyteller. Bro, where we find all these good storytellers, bro? Y'all, I need to see if these people make audiobooks or something. Super iPad Wolf, Squatch Gaming Official, I think it was. Y'all need to make like audiobooks or something. I would listen to them for real. Y'all are good storytellers. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie. This would be one of them situations where you gotta be like one of them anime characters. You gotta take her with you. I'll let her follow you around everywhere you go, and you just got every time you get somebody who just don't want to be left, you have that. All right, you come with me. Let me talk. Can I please stop pulling my dang mic like that? I just almost unplugged my dang headphones. But yeah, that's one of them situations you just gotta take them with you. Ain't nothing you can do.
Like you. That despair mounts as you descend floor after floor, puzzle after puzzle, memory after memory, and so by floor 200, you really start questioning, will this ever end? You thought Grey was different from the other lost souls you've encountered here because she came here willingly. She has a purpose. She is determined. But is she different? Are you different? Or are you just like all the rest, lost? Is Grey destined to become just another withered husk of the void? And it's as those questions really start to set in that it occurs. You're making your way through the deeper floors of the void, and the song that's playing, the one that you are hearing right now, sounds like all music in Void Stranger. Lo-fi chiptunes that feel like they're being generated off a Game Boy's sound chip. But listen to what happens here.
There's a safety locker.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that song. We did react to a dang Void Stranger song. I can't remember. It was Terran Failure who recommended it to me. But we did react to a Void Stranger song. So that was a song from the actual... One of y'all might have said that it was a song from the actual game. But the fact that was a song from the actual game is crazy. So the fact that that literally actually starts playing when you get to floor 200. Literally, imagine going through this game, hearing just the music regularly all this time, then you get to like floor 200 and they just start singing. Like, wait.
There's a safety locker inside of me. Out of your reach, and I hold the key.
A woman's voice cuts through the soundscape, and it's startling. You spent hours listening to the Void Stranger's music at this point, a symphony of low-tech chiptunes that perfectly match its visuals, but now that voice shatters that preconception, and it's shocking. The song itself is so sad and beautiful, this aching ballad of holding on to hope as every other part of you falls away, and just as you're steadying yourself from this moment, the game does something it's never done before. Mid-puzzle, the screen flashes to black, and when it comes back, not only are you in a different room with a different puzzle, but you've jumped forward 60 floors. And before you can even begin to understand what just happened, the screen cuts to black again, and now you've jumped forward nearly 200 floors. But wait, something is wrong here. The stairs are completely blocked off, meaning there is no way to finish this puzzle. We cut to black again, and wait, what floor are we even on anymore? And again we cut, and this puzzle doesn't even have stairs. These floors make no sense. Room after room you plummet. Floors that have no solution. Floors where the only possible outcome is death. Puzzles where you're forced to shut off your own exit. Floors where bizarrely positioned walls cut you off from any hope of moving forward, and you watch as all those rules and all that logic that Void Stranger had so meticulously built up in you over the entire game fall apart as the very graphics that represent this world begin to break apart and the song echoes, distorts, and corrupts. Floor after floor, no solution, no meaning, no purpose, until eventually it's just you and an infinite void of nothing. You're shown a strange symbol. You are told that the envious one has poisoned your mind. You go down one more floor and find the stairs in front of a four-eyed idol. You enter it and the text appears. Only a simple memory will remain. You awaken back at the beginning of the game. Congrats on beating Void Stranger's tutorial!
Wait. Wait. To me? Bro, he joking, right? He joking, right? Was that actually just a tutorial? I'm sitting here thinking it's the end of the game. No, I'm sitting here wondering, like, they even talk about the rest of the video. Like, nah, the video ain't over. That was just a tutorial. Like, what you mean? Bro, we 40 minutes in. And that was just a tutorial?
You are now back at the beginning of the game with no clear path. And I would like to ask you, the viewer, what do you think is the way forward? For me, the answer seemed obvious. I needed to descend all 224 floors without becoming voided, which meant hitting as many optional treasure chests as I could, grabbing the locust from them, read extra lives, and keeping my locust count higher than my death count to avoid becoming voided. And that felt possible. After 224 floors, I had gotten a lot better at manipulating Void Stranger's mechanics. Solutions that I had missed before were obvious now, and knowledge like the movable stairs or how this tile configuration lets you reach just about any spot on the map blew a lot of these floors wide open. To me, I now understood most of what Void Stranger was and would soon hit its true ending. I have never been so wrong in my fucking life, and I've been wrong about many things. For as much momentum as I was blasting through Void Stranger's early floors with, by the time I reached the mid 150s, I'd find myself trapped in anxiety-riddled scenarios where, with a dwindling locust count, a single wrong move meant crashing back to the beginning of the game, which invariably happened. I made half a dozen attempts at doing this, only to be met with failure every time, and it was disheartening. It sucked losing hours of progress again and again, and rather than feeling like I was understanding Void Stranger more, it felt like the game was only becoming more alien and inscrutable. Floors I'd been through 5 or 6 times would suddenly have strange creatures in them. I still didn't know what these symbols meant, why the hell this thing appeared on one run, or why I was still getting such an awful feeling from these statues, or why one time when I booted up the game, I found myself in Void? Core? Lascivious actions. What the? Oh god, they know! More frustrating still was, despite knowing Gray's backstory, I still hadn't learned anything about the Void, and even less about the mysterious and powerful beings that live here known as the Void Lords. I was getting more and more vexed with each run, and could feel there was massive parts of this game I just wasn't touching.
That's kind of creepy.
Before long, that frustration tipped over into disillusionment, and eventually, I stopped playing Void Stranger. Only months later to receive a message. I hopped on a call and explained my frustration with the game, and was left with a clue. Pay attention to the shape of the rooms. The next day I booted up Void Stranger and passed through its first few floors without issue, taking note of the shapes of the rooms as I went, and... this floor is a perfect square. Why does that feel weird? Where else had I seen a 6x6 pattern, and... holy shit. The carvings, those engravings at the start of each zone. Resetting my run once again, but this time I used my patented Eyepatch Wolves notebook, now available at eyepatchwolves.com, and jotted down the shape of the engraving, and then rearranged the 6x6 room's tiles to match that shape. And when I did, a bizarre pattern filled the edges of the screen. And after so many weeks of frustration, it was kind of magical to see something new. No other options, I dropped into the pit below. You find yourself in a new, unnumbered room. By opening the chest, you obtain an odd cube and the text, you acquire a strange feeling. Your mind feels heavier, and that's it. No salute.
How are you... Bro, how are you even supposed to tell... I mean, Granted, for somebody who really pays attention, it probably wouldn't take them too long to figure out what that thing on the wall was. But still, some of this stuff is like, how are you even supposed to know that without the game telling you?
No
That's
guidance,
crazy.
no staircase. you are just trapped once again with no perceivable way forward. Think of how similar this moment is to when you first found the Void Rod or that first puzzle that requires you to move the stairs. Under the rule set you currently understand, there is no way forward, meaning the solution now lies outside that understanding. And so, you once again flail, hoping to discover anything, and then eventually it'll happen. You'll poke at this rock and get this text. Knock that chest over there 6 times in a row, then wait 6 seconds, and the exit will reveal itself.
What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What? There is now a way forward. This is another one of those Void Stranger moments where it's difficult to appreciate how monumental it is when you first experience it. But what you've acquired is the Void Memory. And the Void Memory is like a Rosetta Stone for the world of Void Stranger, as it lets you hear the voices of the eggs dotted through Void Stranger's floors. What eggs, you ask? Why, these ones. Oh, did you think they were rocks? That's weird, considering they're very clearly the souls of people who have become trapped in the void and lost all hope, of whom you now have the ability to hear the echoes of despair. The information you receive from them blows this game wide open. In fact, the very first egg you encounter tells you that if you knock on the back of a chest 3 times and wait 3 seconds, you will get 3 locusts instead of 1. That's big, but it's only the beginning. Remember those mysterious smiling statues we mentioned? Well, another egg lesson tells you that if you open a hole in front of them and dive into it, the smiling statue will consume all your locusts, but in exchange, warp you forward that same number of floors. Meaning, if you do this with 12 locusts, you will warp forward 12 floors. That's fucking huge. And suddenly, making it to the bottom of the void unvoided starts to feel a lot more possible. However, even more so than a much greater supply of locusts and a new way in which to utilize them, what you've really discovered here is the purpose of the stone tablets.
Bro, all this lore about the game is all honestly making me kind of want to play it, but it's like, I know I'm going to rage, probably end up rage quitting the game because my patience meter is not great, especially in video games.
And the knowledge of how to access the 6x6 rooms. You know from previous runs that each of the 8 zones contain an engraving and a 6x6 room, but now you know how they work, and that information becomes your guiding compass down the void, and before long, you'll hit a 6x6 room that utterly breaks this game. Up until this point, you have navigated all of Void Stranger's floors with a single mechanic: tile swapping. Each floor asking you to carefully measure your surrounding resources and strategically construct a path overcoming gaps and bypassing enemies. And there's a real mechanical purity to that. Now get that shit fucking out of here, because you have just discovered the Void Wings, which let you, and I'm going to pause.
If he says it lets you fly over the dang void holes, that's great.
For anticipation here, that feels like the right amount. Hover over a single space. And it's fucking mind-blowing. I cannot oversell how this works.
It's only a single space. Okay, I was about to say, if it just lets you fly over every single space like that, then that's way too overpowered.
One single mechanical change utterly obliterates everything you understood about Void Stranger. Look at this floor, a floor that wingless requires careful consideration and manipulation of its tiles, requiring you to measure how many you need to cross the gap while also not trapping yourself in a dead end. Clear time, 88 seconds. The same floor winged? Nah, son, 6 seconds. That's fucking cheating, or at least that's how it feels. The experience of going from wingless to winged is genuinely one of the most freeing and empowering feelings I have ever gotten from a video game. Floors that gave you trouble before, now melting before you as so many more movements.
I'm feeling like the game's gonna do some kind of twisteroo that's gonna make this impossible. Cause no way a game like that gives you a mechanic that's that ground grading gives you a Words are hard. No way a game gives you a mechanic that's that game breaking and just let you keep it throughout the whole game and let you beat the whole game with that, bro. They taking that away from you somehow. Or they gonna somehow make the game more.
Options become available. What? I
What?
am.
What? Why are you in your inventory bar?
On the UI. Wait, I can pick up the UI's icons. Wait. Okay. Wait.
What?
I can pick up the tile denoting my locust count. Wait, I can pick up the tile denoting my floor number. Wait, does this mean I can swap those two values? Holy shit. Did I just give myself a near limitless supply of locusts? Wait a minute, what if I try the opposite and take my 10 locusts and swap that into the floor value? Oh my god. I just teleported to floor 10. This means I can use menu manipulation to teleport to whatever floor I want. Oh, the freedom, the power. I am becoming not just a player in this world, but something else. It's God. A being who can see through the lines of code that bind this reality together and contort them to my will. Why, I bet I could take even the very floor icon itself, which will probably allow me to— oh my god.
What? He broke the
Where
game.
am I? What is that noise?
Bro, we're already at
have
50
I
minutes. I've
broken the game?
stop.
What the hell is that? What are those sounds? What is happening? Oh god! Oh!
Hola, mis amigos.
Okay, so they don't like you messing with the game like that.
Mi nombre es Terry Cadabra, la maga que explica el juego y desafortunadamente la sección donde aparezco yo fue cortado de este video y sigo atrapado aquí en esta realidad
Do I got my language key?
solio donde mi sabiduría de juego nunca será realmente conocida. Por favor, ayúdame.
Make sure my dang language shouldn't sound messed up.
Experiencing Void Stranger unfold outwards like this is incredible, but
I'm gonna stop before I'm gonna go ahead and stop before I dang make myself want to keep going. If I watch this any further, I'm gonna want to keep going and go through the dang whole video, bro. But I got stuff. I'm sorry, y'all. I got stuff to do right now. But hey, don't worry. For y'all, it's literally just gonna be a quick jump cut. For me, it's gonna be the little next day. So, but I'm gonna remember this stuff, bro. Cause bro. Terry Failure, I see what you talk about this game, bro. So far, this is peak, bro. This seems like it honestly makes me want to try the game. But it's like, same time, it's like, I don't know if I have the patience for it, but but still, listening to lore of it is fire though. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and go. For y'all, I'll technically see y'all tomorrow, but for y'all, it would just be I'll see y'all in a second. So, yeah. Alright, y'all, I'm back. Like I said, it was just a quick jump cut for y'all, but for me, it's the next day, or technically it's today that I'm uploading it. But we're gonna get back into it. I backed it up a good bit. Well, not like a crazy amount, but just enough so I can get back in the groove. I remember this one when you speak a whole different language. It had me question whether I had my dang language settings changed. Let's get back to it.
experiencing Void Stranger unfold outwards like this is incredible, but that feeling only grows in a later 6x6 room as you discover the Void Sword. And what does the Void Sword do? Oh, I don't know. Only let you kill enemies. And holy shit, there's boss fights in this game. After close to a dozen hours, Void Stranger now introduces combat. This encounter contorting all of the game's mechanics.
That's gotta feel so awkward. Spending who knows how many hours playing a game, and it's just like no combat whatsoever, no type of fighting whatsoever. It's just avoiding enemies and stuff like that. Just for at some point, just magically start including combat. This god feels so strange.
Into a goddamn incredible boss battle, requiring you to use the wings and or rod to build a bridge to the enemy while carefully monitoring your movement, which I guess in a weird way is also your turn count, because remember, time only moves forward when you do, meaning you are both geographically and chronologically trying to position yourself in a way to attack the boss, but also not get nuked by its giant laser beams. And it's thrilling, and even more so when you beat it and return to the regular dungeon and feel how the Void Sword now changes everything. If the Void Wings allowed you to gracefully pirouette past the challenges of the Void Sword allows you to rip right through them.
Dang.
Even with the wings, enemies are these things that need to be understood, manipulated, and maneuvered around. But now, throw that shit in the fucking garbage, because the Void Sword transforms them into trifling inconveniences to be erased with a single button press. And between this, the Void Wings, your ability to manipulate the amount of lives you have, as well as warp between floors, how you interact with this world dramatically transforms. Seriously, if your first run through Void Stranger felt like opening a series of doors with a slightly bent needle, a slow pocket watch, and a mildly damp tissue, you are now a cannonball crashing through floor after floor. Puzzles that ground you to a halt before, now barely taking any thought at all. And that's even if you need to do them, with you sometimes skipping dozens of floors at once, all utterly trivializing the journey to the bottom of the void. But tantalizingly, it might not even be the bottom of the void that you're even thinking about, because now something else has started to happen. What all these individual discoveries compound into is a kind of incredible transformation in how you perceive Void Stranger. There's a specific kind of puzzle game that's become popular in the last decade. Games like Outer Wilds, The Witness, Tunic, or even this year's Blueprints. A genre some have dubbed Metroid Brainias, and while I am personally dedicating resources to having those people rounded up in a field and shot, categorizing them like this makes sense, because each involves specific isolated puzzles, the rewards for which are often information on the wider world and how it works, until eventually the player's understanding grows to the point that that entire world becomes the puzzle. That is what Void Stranger now is. A Metroid brain... I can't even say it. It's too awful. When you start Void Stranger, it is a linear journey through a succession of puzzles, but by now, your perspective has pulled right back and now become about how you manipulate and decipher the wider meta of that world. Now that you're able to read the eggs, as well as access the game's secret zones, you'll start to pick up little fragments of lore as to who the Void Lords are and what this place is. This is the point in the game that everyone I know who's played it starts a Google Doc or a Photoshop file or a notebook in an effort to combine their information and discover who the Void Lords are and what exactly happened to them. The gameplay now not becoming about any individual floor or tile combination, but your ability to collect those shards of narrative and combine them to deduce the mysteries of the Void and unravel the story of the Void Lords. Which is... First there was Lord Ad, blessed with the ability to create life, and who used that gift to bring the Void Lords into existence. Powerful chimeras built out of combining humans with other species, who ruled over the Void and could change their appearance.
Hold up. That's Scorpion at the bottom. That look like a Pokemon down there. Like down here at the bottom of my dang mouse here. That look like dang Scorpion from Pokemon. Maybe I'm tripping.
Built out of combining humans with other species, who ruled over the Void and could change their appearance at will. The first of these lords was Lord Mon, but Mon was created through forbidden means, a calculating charlatan, manipulative and covetous. Ad was disgusted by Mon, and through the same forbidden means created Lord Gore. But worried that Gore would turn out as contemptuous as Mon, Ad overcorrected, and made Gore a being of apathy and indecisiveness. Lord Lev was the third Void Lord to be created from forbidden means, whose loyalty to the Void itself surpassed even Lord Ad's. Lord Lev was born without a mouth, and while they were grateful to Lord Av for granting the other Void Lords horns, which allowed them to communicate with Lev telepathically, Lev also secretly harbored malice towards Ad. for reasons that we do not know, but possibly for Ad's disgust at their sister Mon. From here, Ad created 4 other Void Lords through different means. Lord Eos, Ad's most beloved and trusted ally, who had the ability to take the forms of people's desires. The Smiling Lord B, a creature of insatiable hunger but also cruelty, fierce in their devotion to Lord Ad. Then there was Lord Tan, the Raging, a being of terrifying power so frightening that they were shunned by the other Void Lords. And finally, Lord Sif, a mysterious lord of whom we know very little. Long before we entered the halls of the Void, a great war erupted between the Void Lords, when Lord Eos, whom Lord Ad trusted the most, turned on Ad by committing an unspeakable sin. The lowly Mon sided with their sister Eos, resentful of the disgust their creator had shown them, only to be later killed by their sister, Lord Lev. Lev so overcome with grief over slaying their sibling that they took their own life. Lord Tan the Rageful, though siding with Lord Ad, went on a rampage so destructive and unstoppable that their fury could not be quelled even after the battle had ended. Lord Ad forced to kill Tan by running them through with the Void Sword, with finally Lord Eos defeated by the other Void Lords and their body devoured by Ad, leaving only a single trace remain that would eventually grow into tail. Despite not siding with either Ad or Eos, Lord Gore was beheaded by Ad for their indecisiveness. Their head left to ponder their betrayal.
Oh. That's the technical thing in the beginning of the video. Anyhow. What you mean his head was slayed, bro? His head was taken off for being indecisive? Isn't this the one they literally said was made to be indecisive? Like, didn't you make him indecisive like that, but you gonna be mad at him for it?
Gore was beheaded by Ad for their indecisiveness. Their head left to ponder their betrayal for all eternity, and their body cast down beyond the limits of the void where no creature was ever meant to tread. This left only Ad, B, and Sif, till one day, Lord Ad, creator of the Void Lords, vanished, now leaving only the insatiable B and the mysterious Sif.
Dang.
This is about as much as you can understand about the Void Lords as you approach the game's final floors. With the sword, the wings, and your ability to manipulate both your locus count and the floor number, getting here unvoided is no challenge at all. And after journeying past a zone filled entirely with strange symbols, and even an engraving that contains no brand at all, meaning that it's impossible to enter in the 6x6 room that follows, we find one last tree room and are presented with a final memory. It turns out Johan pulled a Griffith, god damn it, and made a contract with demonic entities to sacrifice the souls of Lily's kingdom for unlimited power. Those demonic entities being the remaining Void Lords Sif and B, as well as a mysterious being called the Judge, who seems to be in communication with an even higher power called Dis. When Grey tries to save Lily, B takes on her true mind-meltingly horrifying form and defeats Grey. But before Grey can be killed, Lily offers herself as a sacrifice in place of Grey and her kingdom. A sacrifice that for some reason is approved by Dis. I know the reason, but I ain't saying it. Lily is taken to the heart of the void, and Grey left with nothing but the necklace.
Okay, so a part of me was wondering how did Lily end up in the void that Grey had to come get her. Part of me, this whole time I've been sitting here wondering, like, how did Lily end up in the void? The point that Grey has to go get her.
She gave Lily for her wedding is told that if she wishes to get her princess back, she will need to come to the void where her devotion will be tested. Which, after Grey knocks Johan the fuck out, begins the very journey we witnessed in that opening cutscene. A journey that you are now at the end of. Upon finally reaching the end of the void, Grey is told that she can bring a single soul back from it. Only, there's a problem. Lily was pregnant, and within her there is now a second soul, and Grey can only save one. But in order to do so, she must agree never to come to the void again. Before she can say,
that is so messed up. They gonna make her choose between the princess and the unborn child? That's messed up.
Anything, Gray is blasted out of the void and awakens in a place with power lines, street lamps, and skyscrapers.
Oh.
She awakens.
If they tell me, Super Eye Petrol, if you tell me that Gray's been in the void for decades, if you tell me she's actually been in the void for that long, to the point where basically in modern civilization, I'm gonna crash out.
In our time. And in her hands, a tiny fetal creature. The credits roll, and when they're done, you're left with no option but to close the game, safe in the knowledge that you have now experienced the true ending of Void Stranger. You have not experienced the true ending of Void Stranger. You are still a baby and know nothing.
The game seems like a journey of madness and lunacy. I am never going to play this, but I wish to understand what is so special about it. Yeah. That's basically me. Maybe one day I'll play it, but my patience level ain't there for it.
Upon booting up the game again, you are presented with a brand new cutscene and a new character. This is Lily, with an IE as opposed to a Y, and she is Void Stranger's second playable character and the protagonist of its second route. Also,
What?
I'm gonna refer to Princess Lily as Lilith from now on to avoid confusion, and the girl we just talked about as Lily. Okay. I hope you're enjoying the video. After discovering
I am.
something in her mother's documents, Lily is pulled into the void, and initially, braving it once again doesn't seem like much of a challenge because now, from the opening menu, you can give yourself the Void Memory, Void Wings, and Void Sword. And not just that, you can even grant yourself infinite locusts, all of which, in theory, make your journey down the void a mere formality. But then, wait, was there an enemy in this room before?
No.
Oh
I
god.
think so.
Whereas in the first route, puzzles were designed to be completed without items, which is why the Void Sword and Void Wings utterly broke those puzzles. Now, puzzles have received a fiendish upgrade, specifically designed and contorted around your new abilities, meaning they are now far more complex and dramatically more difficult. Even at their most challenging, the puzzles you encounter on Gray's route usually have one concept that needed to be understood, and when you did understand it, you could find yourself cannonballing through 4 or 5 rooms in quick succession. In a way that was exhilarating, downright breezy even. Lily's route is not like that. Lily's puzzles ask you to bend, contort your understanding of multiple mechanics and principles on each floor, slamming into barrier after barrier, and it is exhausting. So many times I had to walk away from a puzzle in frustration so I could calm down and reapproach it with a fresh perspective. And even then, those puzzles could take 20, even 30 minutes across dozens of attempts, and suddenly all that freedom, all that power you felt is gone, and the anxiety of, can I actually do this, comes flooding back. However, just as an immortal gorilla flinging feces at a wall will one day paint the Mona Lisa, you, given enough time, will succeed. And besides,
This dude's analogies are crazy.
infinite lives. You can do this. All it's going to take is enough time and patience. And wait, what's the forehead statue doing? Only a simple memory will remain. What does that mean? Wait, what the fuck? What the fuck? Floor fucking 1? Are you serious? Welcome to the nightmare of the four-eyed statues. You see, what these bastard things actually do is if they are positioned above an open staircase and you enter said staircase, they will send you hurtling back to the beginning of the game. But this
Oh heck no! I would crash out so quickly if I'm at like floor 200 and I just get hit back to the very beginning by them statues, bro. I would crash out immediately.
solution is simple, right? Just don't do that. Oh, my poor sweet child. Allow me to reveal to you the full malice of Void Stranger. Remember everything we said about Void Stranger being mentally draining? Well, Lily's route is like that, times 10, trapping you in grueling puzzles that grind you down and wear you out until you crave the relief of an open staircase, something you've been conditioned to want over hundreds of floors now. And in that excitement, you have just erased the last 4 hours of progress. You will think that you are immune to this and that you have learned your lesson, and then it will happen again. And it hurts, not just the lost progress, but the knowledge that it was preventable. It was your fault. You promise, nay, vow to yourself that next time will be different. You'll be more vigilant, more careful, you'll move slower, and you will. Until an especially fiendish puzzle results in a split second of moronic, absent-minded stairs enthusiasm, sending you crashing back to floor 1 again. Rage, disappointment, questions. Why? Why is Void Stranger like this? The communication between you and the game that was once so gentle, so encouraging, replaced by a single seething whisper. Give up.
Even with exploits and power-ups and floor skips, it takes a particular kind of lunatic to make it to the end of Lily's run. And it brings us to a question I feel like we've kind of been tiptoeing around this entire video. Should you go through Void Stranger by yourself without guides or help? And that answer is complicated. Part of the core experience of Void Stranger is sitting with the anxiety of not knowing how to move forward until a new perspective unlocks within you. And so, using a guide too early is going to rob you of that feeling for the same reason tutorial text would have ruined that first puzzle. However, I think a lot of people are going to hit a point where a particularly difficult puzzle or lack of a clear path forward tips their curiosity for this game over into frustration. I definitely hit that point with Void Stranger, but I'm so fucking glad I kept going. And what kept me going was was talking to them about their experiences and hearing about the things they'd uncovered, as well as the odd, vague directional finger point, and in turn exchanging what I had found with them. And I know there's going to be people who disagree with that, who see it as sacrilege to experience Void Stranger in anything other than isolation. And what I'd say to that is, one, System Erasure actually encourage people to talk to other people when they get stuck directly on their Steam page. But two, let's take a step back here and think about what this is. Like, what are we doing here? What is the purpose of this video? And it's simple. It's to bring Void Stranger to a larger audience, to give System Erasure the exposure and hopefully sales they need to create whatever's next, to a quality they want in a way that is sustainable for a human life. Something that is becoming harder and harder to do within the games industry. Despite the fact that games have never been more profitable, the games industry is fucked in about 8 different ways. And one of them is how difficult it is for games even as amazing as Void Stranger to get the attention they need to in an ocean of other games. Void Stranger is different and weird and innovative, but in a way that you can't look at a screenshot of Void Stranger and know anything about what it is. You can't even spend 20 minutes with this game and have a single clue about what's special about it or what it's doing. And in a perfect reality, everyone would have the time and patience to discover that, but they don't. People have lives and jobs and families and responsibilities. And so games like this need Sherpas. And I'm not just talking about people like me. If you clicked on this video, it's likely because you, on some level, care about weird video games. And so you should care about bringing those games to different kinds of people. I can't think of a single better way to...
Hey, I got 1,940 subscribers. I'm bringing this game to different people. I need all 1,940 y'all to go play Void Stranger. Then will I peak. I'm gonna let y'all play because it looks good and it's really tempting me to play. It's like I keep saying, my attention span attention span, patience, none of that will hold out for this game.
Experience Void Stranger, then you to collect a group of friends who have never played this game and all dive in together, trading techniques and exchanging secrets. And you are still at the point of this video where you know little enough to do that. Because believe it or not, you still know so very, very little about this game.
Seriously?
Oh, also, here's a list of other content creators who cover weirder, smaller games, and I think do a really good job in doing so. Feel free to support them. And also me, I have Patreon. It's $1, and I just put up a 4-hour video about my top 100 video games of all time, which you can watch if you want. Okay, thank you.
Drag yourself through Lily's route and you'll experience her story. Lily, as you've probably put together, is Princess Lily's daughter and the baby in Grey's hands at the end of a run, with each of Lily's tree room flashbacks taking you through her memories of childhood and the bond she shares with Grey, her adoptive mother. You watch them find a home together, go trick-or-treating and go to prom, and it's sweet, a far more tender and grounded story than Grey's run. Like her mom, Lily is rebellious and spirited, often getting into fights with other kids. But you can tell Grey loves this about Lily, Lily being the closest Grey will ever come to being reunited with the person she's lost. But this becomes a problem. On some level, Grey is unable to let go of the hope that Lily will become her mother. Remember, she even gave them the same name. But as Lily grows up and starts to become her own person, cracks start to form between the two, until one day Lily comes home with her hair cut short for the first time in her entire life, no longer resembling Lilith, and it results in such a massive fight between the two that Grey, overcome with emotion, slaps Lily, causing Lily to storm out of their home, never to return. I think two of the most painful things you can go through in any relationship is either holding on.
Dang. But yeah, you can see what it is. It's like Grey doesn't want to let Lilith go. And it's like she's trying to force the image of Lilith onto her daughter, which you can't do that. She's her own person. Let her be her own person. Like, just because she's Lilith's daughter doesn't mean she has to become Lilith. She still can be her own person.
To the hope that someone is going to become a person they never will, or the opposite, having that expectation placed on you. We see both sides of that here. As Grey, you've seen everything she's been through to get Lily back, and know how crushing it was when that never happened. But as Lily, you understand her desire to be her own person and establish her own identity. And it's messy and complicated in a way relationships often are, and particularly when years later, Grey passes away without the two ever having seen each other again. The final section of Lily's run is just this beautiful sequence where, with the Void Rod, you must...
I was sitting here thinking they were gonna reconcile, something like that. No, she passed before they ever did. Oh, I'm about to cry.
Run is just this beautiful sequence where, with the Void Rod, you must rebuild Lily's memories of Grey. The friction of these puzzles capturing Lily's struggle to reconcile her relationship with her mother, and ultimately make peace with those memories so that she can finally let them go.
Dang.
From here, Lily is saved from the void by something, and now free to live her life as she wanted. And that is the true ending of Void Stranger.
Alright, Fluffo, I'm going to be real with you, dude. And I never actually take any of your recommendations. I don't care about spoilers, but please keep talking. Because after years of watching your channel, I now crave the parasocial serotonin to the point I use your videos to fall asleep. That's all I'm ready here for. This dude's description are really specific.
I mean, clearly that was not the actual true ending. I mean, who's gonna
Yeah,
believe that? You now begin Void Stranger's third route, this time playing as a Void Lord, the mysterious Sif. During Lily's ending, Sif's sister B was vanished by an unknown being, and so now, as Sif, you must once again descend the void in search of B. But this time, the void has reverted back to its original easier state we played in Gray's Run. And considering Sif is always voided from the beginning and has all items by default, this run once again seems trivial, and in the beginning, it is. All you really need to do is make it to the end of Sif's run and be on the lookout for something that seems unusual, which will lead you to a new secret area of the void and some of the most bastard difficult puzzles of the entire game, at the end of which we will discover the charlatan Mon, one of the traitorous Void Lords, is still alive and up to something. Another goddamn ingeniously designed boss fight where you have to attack Mon's tail while avoiding his laser beams. Trust me, it's fucking cool. You kill Mon and reunite with B in an extremely fun, feel-good ending that dumps you back to the main menu with no clear path forward. God damn it, this fucking game. I knew this couldn't be the game's true ending. It just didn't feel like it, and there was too many unanswered questions, and I was right. But what I was wrong about was what the game was now asking me to do. When we first started this game, the first thing we had to do was build a bridge, and from there, the game gradually built on that understanding, introducing concepts and techniques around tile manipulation and navigating enemies, to the point that you start to assume this is a linear game about solving puzzles one by one. However, this is just the first layer of Void Stranger, and in order to access the second, you need to struggle with the frustration of the Void ending and see beyond what you assumed this game to be, which means pulling your perspective of the game right back, realizing that you can move through its floors with a much greater degree of freedom than you ever thought possible, obtaining the Void Memory, Void Wings, and Void Sword, as well as learning the Locust Jumps and UI manipulation, and in doing so, broadening your perspective of this world even further, as now the puzzle becomes not any individual floor, but the entire void itself, as well as the story of the Void Lords. Well, now we need to do that perspective pull one more time, pulling back our perspective to understand that the real puzzle is not just the void, but the entire game, encompassing all three routes and what we've learned on each. The first piece of this involves recognizing an inconsistency in the void we have likely walked past dozens of times at this point. Remember earlier when we said, why does the game seem to occasionally skip a numbered floor? The floor I was referring to is floor 223, the staircase on 222 leading you directly to 224. But even if you recognize this at the time, floor 223 was still completely inaccessible, but now we know multiple ways on how to access it, like using the smiling statue on floor 186 to locust jump forward 37 floors, landing directly on 223, which gives us access to Sif's 6x6 room, where you are given one final clue. Destroy what remains of the traders and return to 000. Okay, let's take that second part first. Because the floor counter on our UI only has 3 digits, we can determine that 000 refers to floor 0. The problem being that we start this game on floor 1, meaning there is no way to access floor 000. Or at least there wouldn't be without UI manipulation, meaning we can now swap the value of 00 from our locus count with that of the floor number, warping us to floor 000, at which point your path will be blocked by 3 giant statues showing a snake, a centipede, and whatever the fuck this is. Which brings us to the first part of that clue. Destroy what remains of the 3 traitorous lords. It's here where everything we learnt about Void Stranger's lore becomes an actual mechanical solution, because from that lore, we know the three traitorous lords are Mon, Gore, and Eos. We killed Mon at the end of Sif's run, and Gore's head can be found on floor 143, begging for death if you have the Void Sword. But Eos is a little more tricky. We know what remains of Eos refers to Tail, a snake-like being that can shapeshift into people's different desires, which we know is actually the anime snake boob lady from floor 30, a being that appears differently to both Lily and Grey, who you can kill using a combination of both the wings and...
So she appears differently. So why she appear like that for Grey?
Sword. Killing all three will dissolve this statue, and in doing so, give you access to Lord Ad's final treasure, the upgraded Void Rod, which allows you to smash through a final limit you felt since minute 1 of this game. You can now pick up infinite tiles as opposed to just one. I know that doesn't sound like a big deal. Trust me, it is. This once again breaks the game, and the sensation of overwhelming power and freedom and just bending the void to your will comes back and stronger than ever, as you can now turn any floor in Void Stranger into basically whatever you want. But aside from the feeling of making the void utterly quiver around you, how does this help you move forward? Well, remember way back in Grey's true ending, where we came across that empty engraving which was utterly impossible to replicate on the 6x6 room that follows? Well, guess what? With our new upgraded Void Rod, we can now erase every tile in that final 6x6 room, entering the domain of Dis.
Whoa.
At this point, we don't really know who Dis is, but we've heard tale of them whispered, and all we can tell is that it's an incredibly powerful being. 60 hours into Void Stranger, it now felt like the game's real, final, true ending was approaching, and it was hard not to feel a magnitude in that, as this massive gateway loomed before me. I thought of all the milestones that had brought me here, like the first moment of building the bridge and how satisfying that it felt at the time and how utterly minuscule it felt in retrospect. I thought of obtaining the void memory and not even realizing the profound way that it would transform my interactions with the game, or the shock of the increased maneuverability brought on by the void wings, or the disbelief at the capacity to slay enemies that was granted with the void sword, and how each one of them had dramatically changed my understanding of this game and how I interacted with it. And so, when in the next room, Void Stranger required me to go down into the interface and give those items back, I was in awe. It was like the game was asking me to acknowledge the journey I'd been on, to consider how far I'd come, how I'd grown. There was a real emotion in that. The knowledge that my journey was finally coming to an end. And so with trepidation, with slow, cautious steps, I descended down the stairs into... Oh god fucking damn it! Fucking piece of shit!
That sends him all the way back to floor 1. That sends him all the way back to floor 1. I'ma lose it.
And so with trepidation, with slow, cautious steps, I descended down the stairs into... Oh god fucking damn it! Fucking piece of shit! Four-eyed statues! Fucking back at the bitch beginning of this stupid fucking game! I will spare you the agony of the zone that follows, but suffice to say, you will encounter the most fiendishly brutal puzzles in the entire game, especially this one. Fuck this one. And after defeating B in another ingeniously designed boss encounter, you may feel that now, truly, the game has no surprises left to show you. And once again, you could not be more wrong. You encounter Sif in her true, unrestrained form. And at this point, Sif does the most shocking thing they could possibly do. They undo the core principle of this reality that has governed your movements since your very earliest moments in the game. The concept that time moves when you do. Sif does not obey this rule. Sif moves on their own time, and I think it's fucking incredible that this is how 99% of bosses in video games.
Also, yeah, a lot of people probably raised this boss fight. They probably got so used to fighting every other boss where it's just like where the boss only moves when you move. Nah, yeah, I move on my own. You can't stop me.
Work, but in this specific scenario, it feels like this reality obliterating occurrence because the game has spent dozens of hours conditioning you into believing that this is how time flows in Void Stranger. And so now, when Sif moves by herself, it feels like you are encountering a being so great and terrible that the core principles that govern this reality do not apply to them. And I'm not sure a game has ever so effectively communicated to me that you are now facing something beyond perceivable reality. The extreme difficulty of this fight only adds to that feeling, the goal being to pick up the stage tiles and use them to hit Sif with, but what that means is that the more damage you cause Sif, the smaller the platform you're standing on becomes, leaving you barely any room to maneuver around the constant onslaught of bullet hellscapes Sif launches at you. With patterns that spin together and overlap, trapping you in the cruelest, most crushing scenarios. A single glancing blow from any of these projectiles sending you crashing back to the beginning of the fight. I am not joking when I say I fought this boss for nearly 4 or 5 hours on stream, dying hundreds of times until I finally realized that Void Stranger's not a bullet hell. It's a puzzle game. Okay, wait a minute. So they can't attack when they're generating a memory. Generating a memory.
What the heck just happened?
Are you fucking serious? You just had to hit this little dude. My own assumption.
Literally, you could win the whole boss fight just hitting that little dude. I would be so mad if I'm sitting here planning out how to beat this boss while dodging its attack, just to find out all I had to do was hit this one little dude hanging out next to him and I would have won.
Assumptions had fucked me once again. Then revelations. Lord Ad, the first of the Void Lords, reveals themselves not as a secret boss, but as Grey, as the person you've spent most of the game playing as. Which the game actually told you in the very first puzzle, because the statue of Ad is wearing Grey's necklace. I swear to God, it feels like the game never stops fucking with you. It is revealed that Ad left the Void and sacrificed a portion of their memories, and now, as Grey, has returned to save Lilith, causing Lord Lev to reveal herself as the entity you first encountered at the Game Over screen. This is the pathetic damaged state Lev was left in after the Void War, and so has been manipulating humans to collect.
Grey was at the whole time? Sacrifice something from him? Bro, we going all the way back.
Revelations. Lord Ad, the first of the Void Lords, reveals themselves not as a secret boss, but as Grey, as the person you've spent most of the game playing as. Which the game actually told you in the very first puzzle, because the statue of Ad is wearing Grey's necklace. I swear to God, it feels like the game never stops fucking with you. It is revealed that Ad left the Void and sacrificed a portion of their memories, and now, as Grey, has returned to save Lilith, causing Lord Lev to reveal herself as the entity you first encountered at the Game Over screen. This is the pathetic damaged state Lev was left in after the Void War, and so has been manipulating humans to collect locusts and souls to assist in her resurrection, and now seeks to take control of the Void / the being known as Dis by taking Ad's memories. And that's when it happens. Remember everything I said about the game breaking its own reality? Well, toss that shit out the fucking window, because now Void Stranger becomes a scrolling bullet hell as you soar past galaxies towards the final battle with Lev. And it's fucking mind-blowing. You start this game feeling clever for building a little tile bridge, and you are now soaring past solar systems, slicing...
Bro, this game feels like... What's the dang game called? What's it called? Galaga? Galaga, I think it was. That's what it feels like. Literally just... Bro, this game is insane, bro. How do more people not know of this game, bro? I never know of this game. It's just so crazy how many hidden gems be hiding out there in the world, bro. I'm gonna have to play this game, play this game one of these days.
Planet-sized spaceships in half in a showdown with a godlike being that spans cosmos, before finally Lilith and Grey are reunited. And Jesus fucking okay, this is it. This is the game's true ending. Kind of.
I am now left with the impossible task of explaining what Void Stranger is. So, here's my best attempt. Tens of thousands of years ago, the Void Star plummeted to Earth, a mysterious object of incredible reality warping power. And in order to contain and control that power, humanity built Dis. And Dis is not a person, but a massive artificial intelligence which drew on the power of the Void Star to give itself shape and structure, creating the Void, a reality warping space that exists across multiple timelines and realities, all at once physical and digital and ethereal. A facility that is maintained by the Void Lords.
Close my mouth before I fly, come out. Or in. What? Bro, this is just blowing my mind. So this was never a real person, instead it was just an artificial intelligence that helped build the Void in the first place? Or it's like what made the Void actually?
Ethereal. A facility that is maintained by the Void Lords, the first of which was Lord Ad, who used the power of the Void to create powerful artificial humans to help them maintain it, which they did by combining people with different animals and insects, before a schism in the Void Lords led to the Void War, and eventually the disappearance of Ad, who now, rather than creating artificial humans, merely wanted to live as one of them, sacrificing their memories and becoming Grey, coming to love Princess Lily, desiring nothing but the simple joy of their lives together, which eventually brings her back into contact with the Void Lords through Johann, and into the world she created, inadvertently revealing Lev's plans for resurrection. This is the most basic terms I can use to explain what happens in Void Stranger. And while some of it's probably wrong, I think a decent amount is right. Okay, now that we know what happens, we can finally ask, what does any of it mean?
Asking what any piece of art means is complicated, because different pieces of it are going to resonate with different people in different ways, depending on their own values, experiences, and history. And when approaching a story as massive and complicated as Void Stranger, that question becomes even more complicated. But as for what it means to me, well, remember that creeping abomination at the start of the video? This resides in an area that you can only access by using floor warps to go beyond Void Stranger's final floors. And what it actually is, well, let's talk about Lord Gore. Gore is a kind of tragic figure in Void Stranger, the indecisive lord who chose not to take a side in the Void War and was beheaded because of it, their body now cast down into the deepest depths beyond the Void. While Gore's head can be found in the Void itself, begging for death, Their body is actually this creature, something we can tell by the fact that it repeats the line, "How bothersome when it touches us," the only other place we've seen that dialogue being Gore themselves. Their body now endlessly searching the space beyond the void for any sign of life, desperate to find its head and once again become whole. The idea of becoming whole, of reuniting with some lost part of yourself, is a theme across multiple characters in Void Stranger. Lev, Lily, even Grey is missing a part of herself that she's not even aware of at the start of the game. And it's brutal in a way that you can't even really understand when you first play this game and experience the Void ending. Experience the despair of holding on to hope as every other part of you disappears. But you keep going. Each challenge, each wall, each limitation you impose on yourself, and the constant anxiety of not knowing what the solution is, or if you'll be able to find a way forward, you overcome it all by constantly reevaluating your perception of what this world is and how you consider your own place within it. And it's a struggle. It is agony, full of frustration and lost progress, but you keep going. No matter how impossible any obstacle or scenario feels, there is always a way. There is always something you can do, and the first step is removing the assumption that there are limits where there is none. Because ultimately, the one constant in any scenario, no matter how grim or hopeless, is you. Is your capacity to broaden your understanding of the world around you, and in doing so, becoming a more complete version of yourself.
This to me is what Void Stranger is, but it's not all it is, because believe it or not, there is still so much more, including the most fucking insane twist of this entire game, which I am not going to spoil here, because if I still haven't got you...
Tell me! I don't know when I'm gonna have to play this game. Tell me! And even if I do play the game, I'm probably not gonna be smart enough to figure it out, but I mean, unless it really spells it out for you. But tell me! Besides, I thought the biggest twist of the game was gonna be the fact that you were playing as dang dude person who created the Void the whole time.
I want to leave it as a final morsel to tempt you into Void Stranger, but it's also more than that. There's still so many mysteries in
Void Stranger devs, y'all need to pay this man. He's single-handedly promoting y'all game. Pay this man.
Stranger that even the community around it are putting together as we speak. The wiki is still full of blank pages, even for important characters. In so many ways, this game is this unexplored abyss, this mysterious frontier, but a frontier that you can be a part of. Even after watching this video, you're still gonna be going in with so many unanswered questions, like the true origin of the Void Lords, or what Dis's true purpose is, or why Lily seems so important to the Void Lords. But here's the thing. Those answers exist, just not in Void Stranger.
What?
The final crazy part of this game being that it is an abyss so deep it goes beyond itself. And what I mean by that is that this video was never a recommendation for Void Stranger.
Huh?
It was a recommendation for System Erasure's previous game, Zero Ranger.
Zero Ranger is a meticulously carved bullet hell shmup that just so happens to share a universe with Void Stranger. The two stories overlapping and completing each other in ways that are mind-bendingly ludicrous, forming this goddamn incredible story of a love that transcends multiple planes of space-time and reality. And if you've watched this far in this video, you now know quite a lot about Void Stranger, but nothing of Zero Ranger.
What?
And that is by design. If you want the experience I have been describing this entire video, go play Zero Ranger. I do not care if you think you don't enjoy shoot-em-ups, Zero Ranger will correct that assumption. Just keep believing in your ability to move forward, no matter what.
I didn't even know these type of games had stories. Bro, don't let me go back and find out Dan Gallagher got its own story.
unravel its mysteries, and then, with that information, move forward into Void Stranger and experience its actual true story. That is my gift to you. Hello friends, thank you for watching the video. Good Jesus, this one nearly killed me. And if you enjoyed it, you can support this channel by pre-ordering my new book about fake video games. The pre-orders will be live for, well, a little while at least. You can also head on over to eyepatchwolves.com to pick up the brand new frog tee, or join my Patreon at patreon.com/super eyepatchwolf, where you can be joined by these fine folk: Ricta Mouse, Alice Trinity Ripley, Oswaldo Vargas, Drowning
I'm
Curious,
letting you use credits.
Lily Marion,
Deserves it after this video.
Wizard of Loneliness, and Floorfrog94. Find me as ever at eyepatchwolf on all these places, on the Versus Wolves podcast, and on the Jeff's Bizarre Adventure anime podcast. Friends, take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time.
That was insane. The fact that I just watched a full lore video for this game, but there's still lore that's not discovered, as in still, because like there's like a whole nother game. So I'm assuming this game, what do you call it again? Something Hero.
In ways that are mind-bendingly ludicrous, forming this goddamn incredible story of a love that transcends multiple planes of space-time and reality. And if you've watched this far in this video, you now know quite a lot about Void Stranger, but nothing of Zero Ranger.
Zero Ranger. The fact that the story connects to a whole nother game, bro. I know there's games out there that do that, but dang. Now I may have to try both games. Bro, the way that Zero Ranger looks, I wouldn't even think that's like a game with a story. Cause like I said, it looks like dang Galaga or something like that. But I might have to check them both out. Like, bro, Terry and Failure. I see why you wanted me to watch this so badly, bro. Void Stranger might generally be one of the. This is coming from somebody who hasn't actually played the game, but though I'm just watching this lore video. Void Stranger might actually be one of the greatest hidden games ever. Bro, it's like I was saying earlier, technically yesterday for me, but it's all these games that are made by billion-dollar companies and stuff like that, but they're just, okay, they're pretty good games, but it's just like, it doesn't have to leave like a lasting impression on you. But then there's just these games made by these small indie devs. They're just straight up masterpieces in storytelling. It's just like, wow. Because like, yeah, literally when I first heard for the Void Stranger, when it was first recommended to me and I was looking at it and stuff like that, I was like, what really is there to this game? It just looks like a regular puzzle game or whatever. It was great thing. Now I watch this lore video and I'm just like, there was all this to this? Like, y'all got all this from that? Bro, this was insane, bro. Like, I'm actually gonna have to give the game a try. It's gonna suck, and I'm probably not even gonna finish the game. I can bet right now I'm probably not gonna finish the game or make it too far. I haven't even gone back to Ultra Kill, which I do gotta get back to. I do gotta get back to playing Ultra Kill. But the fact, bro, this was so good, bro. The twists are everything, and there's still more. There's still more to learn about the game, but you gotta play a whole nother game to get it and stuff like that. Bro, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. This game is mind blowing. But I'm gonna go. I hope y'all enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below what you want to see me back to next time. Oh yeah, and text speak this day 17. Currently on day 17 of the 3rd Day May Challenge. We here with it. And I gotta go ahead and merge these two videos together. This video probably gonna be almost 2 hours long. So y'all better watch this though. But y'all, I'm loving all these dang. If y'all find any more just dang hidden gem video games for me to react to the lore videos on, recommend them to me, bro. Cause I love these dang lore videos, bro. They be long, but I be loving them, bro. They so fire finding out the lore of these games, and it just give me more games to add to the list that I need to try. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed. Until next time, y'all. See ya.